Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title of this video, it is a bit more of a serious one. However, it is something that I think is highly important to discuss. The day this video goes live, it is actually National Suicide Prevention Day, which is why I am talking about this. However, we do have to bear in mind that this is not my story, so I have to try to be as respectful as I can possibly be. I don't want to upset anybody, and I am sorry if this does cause you some upset, but like I say, I do think it's highly important that we talk about it, so this is going to be from my perspective. It is such a cliche, but it is also absolutely true. You never expect it to happen to you, and this happened more than 2 years ago now, and I still find it hard. Like, I woke up today knowing that I was going to film this video, and I just thought, wow, you know, that actually happened. That was a real thing that happened. So yes, it is true. One of my teachers did commit suicide. This was obviously a very upsetting time for everybody involved, everybody affected, and I'm sure it is still quite upsetting now. Like I say, it is for me. I wasn't even that close to her, but I still find it hard to think that that was real. That is real. If this has affected you as well in your own personal life, I truly am sorry, and I'm hoping and praying that it will get better for you. More than 2 years ago, I posted this image to my Studygram. I have just found the post and I'm going to read out exactly what I put. So I posted the photo on the 24th of November 2018, and the caption said, "So I can't believe I'm about to write this. One of my teachers committed suicide." As you can imagine, this is a very difficult time for my entire school, but especially the staff. Nobody knows what to say. I walk through school in the morning and look at everybody else sitting in silence. It's torture. She was the teacher that constantly smiled. Nobody could have ever predicted this, hence why there is not one person that does not feel guilty. We held maths yesterday, so I do now feel slightly better after that, and also after blurting all of my emotions into this. She loved butterflies, so hopefully she's grown her own butterfly wings and is now flying high. This is for her, Sky. She wasn't actually my teacher at the time. She had taught me English in year 7, but because she wasn't my teacher, I didn't speak to her that often. But even I found it hard, and I did. It sounds strange, but after blurting how I felt onto that mind map, it did make me genuinely feel a lot better. It just goes to show it does affect us all. You know, mental health has been something that I struggled with for a long time myself, and I do still struggle with now. And to be honest, I think everybody struggles with their mental health at different times, but it just struck home. Do you know what I mean? It just struck home. That does talk about how it sort of was at school, but I'm going to talk about the lead up to it. Actually, I actually saw that teacher and spoke with her like less than a week before it happened. I think I saw her on the Monday, and then she'd done it on the Friday. She was telling us stories about a puppy she'd had in the past, and you just wouldn't suspect anything. Yes, that obviously is the last time that I spoke to her. I was in year 13, it was my last year of sixth form, but like I say, I didn't take English A-level, so I didn't see her that often. Whenever I did see her though, she was known for being really smiley and happy, very upbeat as well, and she just contributed a lot to the school. Like, some teachers don't really do anything, they come to work and then they go home, or you've got other teachers that always go the extra mile, and she was one of those teachers that always went the extra mile. She was actually in the process of trying to get sixth form students free access to the gym because she knew how much exercise could improve your mental health, and she was also known for having the best displays. She really put her own personality into it. I remember sitting in the classroom once because all the subjects got moved around into different departments, and I sat in a classroom and it was like Harry Potter themed, and there was just stuff hanging from the ceiling and stuff everywhere, and I was like, this is definitely her classroom. It just is, it has to be. And it was her classroom because you could just tell. School always finished at 3 o'clock, and on this particular day, I think I must have had a free or a study in period 5. We had 5 periods in our day, so period 5 I must have been on a free or something, or I got out of class slightly early because I was in the study room at least 10 to 3, and I was planning on staying there to revise. I did normally stay at least an hour every day because my bus comes every hour, so I was either going to stay till 4 or stay till 5, just so I could concentrate on my work a bit better because I always struggled to work at home. So I was sat in the study room studying, and at 5 to 3 the assistant head came marching in and went into the office, because at my sixth form there was like the study room and then the office was inside the study room, so to get to the office you always had to go through the study area. My seat, where I always sat, was right by the door. Not by the office door, but by the door of the study room, like right at the back. That was just like my little spot. I always saw who was coming in and out and stuff like that anyway. So I saw him come in and he went straight into the office, marched straight in, and then he left again. And this wasn't unusual. However, the assistant head was also my A-level maths teacher. So sometimes, you know, when he'd come in and out, he'd go, "Oh yeah, you're right, you're doing your maths," or whatever. Like, he'd have a little bit of conversation, but he totally avoided eye contact with me. And I thought nothing of it, pretty much. I thought, oh, that's a bit odd, but like, I didn't think anything of it, like he could just be in the mood or something. So I didn't suspect anything, and things like that anyway were usually about a student that had misbehaved. And I can't remember how long I actually stayed till that night. I think it must have been 5, might have been 4, but I think it was 5. My bus came every hour, so it, you know, it's one or the other. And my head of sixth form came in. She, you know, she went to her office to go and get her bags and stuff, but she just seemed a little bit upset and down. Like, she wasn't like, "Oh hiya," and upbeat like she normally is. She was just like, she sort of had her head down and she was walking and she just seemed a bit sad. She went into the office and I heard her blow her nose, you know, not highly unusual, but as she came out, she did stop to speak to me, and she just seemed sad. She was just like, "Oh, you know, how long are you staying for? You're going home soon?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going home soon." Like, oh. I can't explain it, but she just didn't seem herself. She just didn't seem right. So this is when I started to think, maybe something's going on. Anyway, it then got to the hour, which then meant I had to leave. I had to go and get the bus, and we have to walk through the school to be able to get out the door, which also means you have to walk past the staff room. There isn't really, well, you could walk the long way around, but there's no point walking the long way around. You do walk past the staff room. And I walked past the staff room, and this was a Friday evening, right? And the staff room was full of teachers. And I mean full, like every single teacher seemed to be there. There was a lot of teachers there. That was the point. I was like, something's happened, something has happened, because they've had like an emergency meeting after school and they've still not left. So something's obviously happened in the meeting for them to not go home after the meeting's finished. A Friday night, teachers either darted out the door because they wanted to get home for the weekend, or they stayed and played football. They sort of split into 2 groups, and yet both groups were still there at 4 or 5 o'clock. It was a bit like, you know, something's definitely going on there, and it just made me feel really uncomfortable because that had never happened before in my, 7 years of being at that school, and I was like, something isn't right. So then after you walk past the staff room, you then get to the hall, which is where also the stage is. And so I walked into there, and these girls that were in my year were still there, and they were practicing dance because they were dancers. So I stopped to speak to them, we had a chat, and we were just all like, you know, something's going on, but we don't really know what. They just said that all the teachers were still here. And then one teacher walked past us all, and it looked like they had been crying. So we all just looked at each other like, what do we do? But if I'd have stayed, I then wouldn't have been able to get another bus, so I went home. And on the bus, I ended up sitting next to this girl who I sat next to quite a lot on the bus, to be fair, but she would normally go at 3, but for some reason she'd been to town and she ended up being on the same bus as me, and she was in year 10, and she said to me like, "Oh, have you been at school? Do you know what's happened?" And I was like, well, something's definitely happened if she is asking me about it. She said that there was a rumour going around that one of the teachers had died, and this suddenly made everything make sense to me. I was like, oh my god, yeah, a teacher must have died. Speculating who it was didn't feel right between us, like going, oh, would it have been them or would it have been them? Like, that didn't feel right at all, but at the same time you sort of wanted to know. As soon as I got off that bus, that 20-minute journey, I rang my dance friends because I wanted to ask them, like, oh, you know, are you still at school? Have you heard anything else? But literally as soon as they answered the phone, they went, you know, don't you? And I was like, it just confirmed that something was definitely wrong. And my friend said that all the teachers had come out and they were all crying, and the English teachers were crying more so than the other teachers, obviously because they would have been closer to her. And they did say that somebody had died, so somebody had died. That is what we knew for facts. These rumours spread incredibly fast, and it was very quickly all over Snapchat, from like year 7s all the way up to year 13, posting weird Snapchat stories like RIP teacher or something like that. Or some people just putting on a teacher has died. Like, that to me just wasn't really respectful, but that's how quickly things got round. And it was very quickly focused on one particular teacher, which was the teacher it actually was. And my friend's mum actually knew her family, and she said that there had been a car crash or something like that. So I went on the news and I looked at all like car accidents that happened recently in the area, and I couldn't find anything, so I was a bit confused. But again, at the same time, maybe they just hadn't posted anything about it. But that is absolutely what went through my head. I thought 100%, if it's this teacher, it's been an accident. Suicide at not one point crossed my mind. That Friday night, my school took down all of their social media pages, which to be honest probably was the best decision. However, it also confirmed that something was definitely wrong because we were all constantly refreshing the sites waiting for a statement, but they just went silent. Carrying on working and revising that whole weekend was really quite hard because everybody was just waiting to hear something, and it suddenly seemed like the longest weekend ever. Then on Monday morning, 19th of November 2018, school reactivated their Facebook page and put out a statement. This statement didn't state a cause, and it got read out again in form, and their entire form was just silent. What were we supposed to say? It just stated that she had died. It didn't state what the cause was, but I will read that statement out to you now. I am not actually going to disclose what her name was, but this story has also since been featured in the Daily Mail, so you would be able to find out what her name was, but I just don't feel completely comfortable doing that. So this was the status. It is with great sadness that I have to inform you that on Friday, Miss Blank, a highly respected and very much loved member of our teaching staff, died suddenly. This is a very unexpected and tragic loss to both her family and our school. The students have been told of her death this morning in their own form rooms, and as anticipated, a number of them are experiencing some significant distress. We have been able to secure the help of trained counsellors that the students are able to talk to if they feel the need to. On behalf of the school community, I have expressed our sympathy to her husband and family. I hope in the weeks to come we will find an appropriate way to celebrate the life that she had with us here at our school, together with the significant contribution she has made. Details of these will be posted on the school Facebook page. We plan to have Mass to celebrate her life on Friday during period 4. Following the Mass, school will close, so pupils will leave at 1:45. As you all know, Miss Blank was not just a talented teacher but a wonderful human being, and our school community will be very sad over the coming weeks. I would ask you all to keep her and our community in your thoughts and prayers. I'm actually getting a bit emotional just reading that again. It's just like, how would the school have even known what to do? Like, were they even contemplating not opening on that Monday? Because obviously teachers wouldn't have wanted to come in. But yeah, they carried on. Do you have a plan? Do you have a plan what to do if this happens? So that statement got read out in our form, and we were just all silent until the bell rang and we went to class. We found it hard because we knew teachers were her friend, so trying to teach us, like, we didn't want to ask them questions because they've come into school and they've cracked on. So it's difficult to carry on as if nothing happened when you know they're going to be upset, just like they know that we're going to be upset. It's a bit of a lot more of a mutual understanding, from my perspective anyway, because I was in the higher end of the school. I'm not sure what it was like for year 7s. Oh, but I'm sure it wasn't good, because I remember getting on the bus and this girl that was in year 9 was just absolutely not respectful about it at all. She's just like, why would you do that though? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And I just, oh, it really wound me up just listening to her. No. So that's the statement that got read out on the Monday. However, everything got confirmed to us on the Sunday because her husband actually put a post on Facebook, and this got screenshotted and shared around everywhere, because obviously we're not friends with her husband, but people like ex-students that were friends with her herself on Facebook, and when she was tagged in it, everybody saw it, so then it got passed around that way. So this was the statement her husband put on. It absolutely devastates me to write this. On Friday morning, blank took her own life. And I remember sitting in the office here reading that, going, oh right, we're gonna find out what's happened. And I literally went, on Friday morning, blank took her own life, and I burst into tears, and I was just like in absolute shock and disbelief. Just because that suicide genuinely not once ever passed through my head. Not once. It was such a complete and utter shock, and I was just like, that can't be real. But obviously it was. She was the most incredible, funny, selfless, loving person I've ever come across. I feel truly blessed to have spent the last 11 years with her. She was hilarious to be around. An absurd, comical situation or sentence was never far away. I will never stop loving her, and neither will her family, friends, and many others. If you have any photos, videos, or memories of her, please post below or send privately if you prefer. And I just felt so bad. There was an overwhelming sense of sadness for him and for his family and for the school in general, as well as this overall overwhelming sense of guilt that I feel like everybody experience. It's just not what you expected, and you just think, oh, could I have been there? Could I have said something different? It's just not nice to think about. She was the teacher that you could talk to if you needed cheering up or you needed to confide in someone. Even if she didn't teach you, she would be the teacher you would go to. And now you just think, well, who did she have to go to? So like I said in my Instagram caption, you know, the following day, few days, walking into school and everything just being silent. Teachers not making eye contact with you, you not making eye contact with them because you don't know what to say. And it's a really, really bizarre time. However, she really loved butterflies, so the school ended up creating this beautiful butterfly display with lots of butterflies all over the stage, and it stayed there for a very long time. And I think we got a plaque made for her when it came down, but every single student made one butterfly, so that was my butterfly, and all of them got put up all around the school, and it was just such a beautiful display in memory of her. Really was. Lots of people also brought in flowers to leave at the school entrance, so this is what it looked like, if I can sort of blur out my school in the background. But coming into school and just seeing that, it was just like, whoa, this is real. This is really real. So this was also before COVID. This was before lockdowns or any of that happened, so there was a funeral service and as many people as possible were allowed to go, and some students did go. School had to put a statement on that, you know, students were welcome, but they'd have to be accompanied by their parents unless, you know, they were over a certain age. A lot of my friends did actually end up going, but I didn't go myself because I didn't feel like I was close enough to her to be able to go and sit there with all the teachers who were grieving. So I thought about them on the day, but I didn't go myself. And some students that were older than me and had had her as their teacher the year before told me about what they'd seen her mental health be like. Apparently she actually was very up and down, but the majority of us only ever saw her on a high. But even they were still shocked. It is truly never something you would expect. It took a very long time as well for some of the teachers to return. Like, I think one teacher was off for a good year, maybe 9 months. I really hope that they're all doing better now. If you feel like you need to reach out to someone, please contact anybody, a friend, family member, a teacher, or even the Samaritans. I will put the number or the email address of the Samaritans on this screen. It is the National Suicide Prevention Day, but in my opinion, every day should be National Suicide Prevention Day. It is a major issue, and I do hope talking about it can help us be more open to be able to deal with our problems rather than bottling things up and them getting so much worse. As I mentioned a little bit, the story was featured on the Daily Mail. I'm just going to read out part of it now. The big headline, like bit in bold, says, English teacher 32 who taught pupils to believe in themselves hanged herself as she struggled with low self-esteem, inquest hears. So it's only when the Daily Mail put that statement out that we found out that she had hung herself. We knew it had been suicide, but we didn't know it was by hanging. On the 16th of November last year, Blank, who was head of year at Blank, was found dead at her home. She loved her job, but she was always worried about whether she was letting down the school and her pupils and colleagues. She had a big lack of self-worth, and that was the basis of her issues. Her husband, a design engineer, said she was beautiful and clever and she would dish out loads of compliments but never take any for herself. Not only did she have friends, but she had a good family as well. We all supported each other. My head teacher put the statement on. She had grown to be an excellent classroom teacher who had a passion for enabling children of all abilities to achieve the very best, but more importantly inspired them so they enjoyed their learning and believed in themselves. During her time in school, she not only taught English, but was a much loved form teacher and an excellent caring year head. She organised a boys reading group, led World Book Day events, was a leader of the Duke of Edinburgh, and ensured other students got out of the classroom and into the countryside that she loved so much. She filled our classrooms and staff room with sparkle, laughter and love. As a school, we are heartbroken, but we will make sure that she is remembered, and that as staff we continue her example to inspire all students to believe in themselves and to know that they are loved so they can be the best they can be. She helped pupils in numerous ways, including with Saturday morning revision and classroom makeovers, and also ensured she celebrated every child's birthday with cake. It just breaks my heart, it really breaks my heart. I'm fairly sure now her husband is dating my old maths teacher because they came in together on a date when I was working in the restaurant I work at, and I was like, I'm gonna go do pots in the back. That's a bit awkward. But yeah, they also created a really lovely reading room in the library at school. This was after I'd left, but because she was obviously an English teacher and was so passionate about getting people into reading, they created this whole room to remember her, and it's got a butterfly and things in, and it's really lovely actually. Yeah, obviously it isn't a nice situation, but it is nice to see how we have created things to remember her and tried to continue on that legacy and the happiness she brought to everybody. So there we are, guys. That is the end of the video. I do very much hope it has been helpful, and I hope you're okay. Thank you for watching. Bye!